Okay, so not everyone realizes that, your broker can also help you with car loans. So we're getting a lot of questions recently around car loans. So we thought we'd throw this video together and just show you a little bit of what your options are and what we can do. The first question we get a lot is, what options do I have to buy that car? So there are a number of choices. It also depends on whether that's for a consumer, for you personally, or it's to be used in a business, so it's actually going to have a business purpose. Two complete different options, and I'll try and take you down paths of both of them, just to sort of show you exactly what your choices are. So on the consumer side of things, it's either going to be a personal loan or a consumer car loan. So the car loan is secured by the car, and often can be a cheaper rate than a personal loan because the bank actually has security over that car. So what we do is, talk to you, find out exactly what you're looking for in a car, and then get it pre-approved or approved for you, so when you go and negotiate for the car, you're ready to go. The second option is when there's a business purpose for that car. If you need a car for work or you need it for your business, then often we can do it as a commercial car loan. There are a number of different options we can look at. Often these are actually cheaper than consumer because there's a lot more providers in this space. With that, we really need to have a look and really understand, are you a sole trader? Are you a company? Are you a trust? Is it through your wages that we need it for? And then we just look at all the options and then recommend, based on that, what is your best choice? Okay, so a question I do get quite often is, dealing with a car finance broker, is that the same as just dealing with the guys at the dealership? Okay, so the main difference in dealing with a broker to do your car finance as opposed to the guy at the dealership is, we're compelled and licensed to actually provide you the best option available. We work up front to get this approved for you. So when you go to look at cars, you already know what you can afford and what that's going to cost you. When you go into the dealer to get your finance, it really limits your choice. After you've spoken to them, you probably then can't go and negotiate with another car company or another car yard to get a better price. So they know they've got you locked in. They will often only have very limited choices of what lenders they work with, so you have very small range of what you can achieve. Also, once they know exactly what you can afford, that negotiation process becomes very difficult because, simply they'll say, hey, listen, it's only costing you X amount of dollars a week. They don't really get down with all the details for you. One thing we see with dealers a lot and dealer finance groups is they're not very clear with showing you what your interest is, what the fees are, what's involved, until you're picking up that car on that day and signing it and going, what is this stuff? We see it time and time again, and it's something in our industry that we're not allowed to do. Another option people say is, why don't I just go to my bank to get the car loan? Often banks don't do consumer car loans, so it really limits your choice. Going in there, they may have a product, but it's actually more like a personal loan, which is typically more expensive. So by going to a broker who can have, a lot more different choices for you, you'll end up with your best outcome. Once again, when we talk to the banks, we can negotiate with all them to get you the best rate. But when you walk into the bank, you're only going to get the product they have on the shelf at the rate they're advertising. Okay, so what kind of paperwork do I need for that car loan application? It's pretty simple stuff. It's going to be, pay slips, identification, a bit of a fact find, just tell us about your other commitments and all that sort of stuff. And from there, we can look at your options and how much you can afford based on that information. On the commercial side of things are fairly different. There's a number of options that are low doc that we don't even need financials for. So it's just the ID and working out what company and what entity is actually going to buy this thing. Some others where we need a bit more information, it'll be things like your financials or BAS statements. Sometimes that's a much easier option as well, but we'll typically work with your accountant to get these from you. So can we do a pre-approved car loan? Yes, we can. So most lenders will put up there. We'll typically talk to you and say, hey, listen, what sort of car are you looking for? Give us a ballpark year, is it new? Is it through a dealership? So then we put it up with a dummy product and say, listen, that's what they're looking to buy. Once we're approved, you then know you can go and negotiate to buy that car, and with absolute certainty, you're going to be able to buy it. So often you'll have either 30, 60 or 90 days to actually go out and negotiate and get the best deal you can for that car. So, this is more of a consumer one, but what is the difference between a secured car loan and an unsecured car loan? Typically, really, an unsecured car loan is just going to be a personal loan. It's not secured by the car, and there's no charge registered against the car. These are obviously higher because you don't have the security of the car. The bank doesn't have the security of the car anyway. On the other side of it, a secured car loan just means that they actually put a charge over the car, and if something ever happens, the bank knows they've actually got a title over that car, so they can make it a little bit cheaper. So do I need a deposit to get a car loan? Typically no. Like if you do sometimes need a deposit, it's because you want to spend more than the bank's prepared. So say for instance, you wanted to buy a car, they said you can afford 20,000, you want to spend 25,000, you might have 5,000 you want to put in to achieve the car you want. On the commercial side of things, similar, don't typically need a deposit. There are, a lot of low doc options there that sometimes are easier if you have a deposit, but certainly it's not an essential thing. So once again, when we sit down, talk to you, find out exactly your circumstances, we can let you know what your options are and whether you do or don't need that deposit based on those details. Can you finance a car from a private seller? Yes, we can. Obviously, that's a benefit with us. We've got a lot more choices, and we'll explain to you all the risks in buying a car through a private seller. And often the banks have things in place to ensure we limit those risks. That might be getting inspections. Often we need to get a little bit more detail from that seller just to prove they have clear title to that vehicle. Okay, so there are some risks in buying through a private seller. Often, are they getting rid of this car because there's a few things wrong with it that potentially won't come up in a mechanical check. So that is a bit of a risk, especially because, obviously going through a dealership, they're always going to try and offer you a warranty or sell you a warranty. But this actually gives you a bit more protection for the car if something does go wrong. So often, I said when you're buying that privately, you really are taking a risk on that vehicle. So really very important in that instance to get a really good mechanical check on it and make sure there are no bugs. So guys, again, when you're looking to get that car loan, going to a broker gives you a lot of choice on not only the product you can have, the rate you'll end up with, and ultimately the car you can buy. But we're going to sit down and we're going to step you through that process to make it as easy as possible. So guys, just give us a call, send us a message or an email, and we're more than happy to sit down with you and go through all your options to securing that next car.